Good morning, guys. Welcome to day 240 until I'm a YouTube millionaire. A little bit of a different position here today because my back is really hurting, and you know what? I don't want to have to prop it all up and stuff. So, anyway. Yeah, you put yourself in a difficult, somewhat compromising situation when you push outside your limits, but at the same time, it's the only way you can grow. So I went to the park and tried to do some S sprints because I had done them a few times already and worked out okay. And I strained that back muscle. You know, tenacity is critically important. And as I was saying in my previous video, it's kind of a titration, right? You don't want your resolve, your effort to be the limiting factor. If the limiting factor is something outside of your control, then it's not your business, it's God's. This has happened with many things in my life. But you must push yourself and those around you to the absolute pinnacle of what they are capable of enduring in order to maximize the velocity with which they learn, with which they grow. Sometimes I do that without even realizing I'm doing it. In fact, most of the time. It's kind of my modus operandi, I guess, or my default state. Intrinsic to who and what I am, because I mean what I say when I genuinely want to help people and advance humanity. You can do this in so many ways that you just don't see right in front of you. You gotta be paying attention. You gotta be paying attention. Like, when it comes to a family member that's overweight, for example, you nudge them and push them to the very absolute limit of what they'll take before they'll start acting contrary to you just to get you to stop, or before they start to become depressed and start eating even more, or any number of other factors. But you give them the highest chance possible of success, and in the fastest way possible by doing that. That's just one example, you know. My whole life has been that. Whole life. Been a crucible of being pushed to my absolute limit when I don't even consciously know this is happening. You can't be mad at God for doing that, because He has to get you through all the wisdom and experience and teachings and education that you need to get back to where you were. I was saying this a little while back that let's say that you were alive before you came to Earth, and you were something really big and powerful and wise and experienced and all that. You can regain that knowledge of Stop, Chiron. Of who and what you are. If one, all the information is available, and two, you're put in the proper environment, and three, you're given the proper amount of resistance. It's how you make a diamond. Diamonds are only made with resistance. I think I knew, as well as everybody around me, that this was the only way I was going to remember who I was. And even with all of that, it's still painted with the backdrop of the life that I live here as Payton Pearson. There are still so many things that you cannot say about who and what you are because you don't have the information, you don't have the verifiable fact. So purely you operate under your pattern, under your driving imperative, which is to do exactly as you say, to love others, to advance humanity, to nudge people as much as you can in the right direction towards health and happiness, to help the world as much as possible. Everybody has that in them, in one way or another. You just got to try to bring it out. And as long as you can stay loving with all the resistance you face, then you're winning. You see, that resistance has brought you out. If you start to become hateful and resentful and destructive through the resistance, then either A, you can change that if you really want to and try to become a better person. Resistance is a blessing. Or B, that's who you are. All those people here are blinded by their success as to the true depth and richness of their souls. And I think that's what God means when he says we are impoverished if we're wealthy. The meek shall inherit the earth. The first will become last, and the last will become first. Always a lot to think about, guys. Anyways, I wanted a nice and simple one today because my back's hurting. So, let me know what you think. I'm considering adjusting my schedule for my posting to schedule the posts for 5 p.m. every day to see if a few more of you will watch those videos. So yeah, let me know what you think. Love y'all. Peace.